Today I come back with a video of the review of the first episode of the Shadowhunters TV show, which was released yesterday night. It is a TV show adapted from the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, which, if you have seen my other video, which I recommend you do, I am a big fan of, and you would know that. So very nervous to know how it would go after the awfulness that was the movie. And I have good news for you! It's not as bad as the movie. Maybe. For now. We'll see. So if you haven't seen the episode, I would recommend that you just go see it and then come back to see what I think of it, because this review will be spoiler filled. I will try to do something a bit more organized than usual. First, I'll give you my general thoughts on the intrigue and how the episode was made. Then I'll talk about the characters, the sets and props, and I'll end up with some commentaries that made me laugh and stuff I noticed, but maybe you did too and that made you laugh too. First of all, the opening scene was really cool. I had seen it, when they released it on the ABC Family, which is now Freeform site, and so they kind of did a flash forward, flashback, I'm not really sure. Anyway, it ended up being very good, and the first characters that we see are Jace and Izzy and Alec and the monster in the streets. And I really like the music all the way through the episode. I don't know if it's gonna keep up like this, but I really like the soundtrack. So I was glad because it gave it a kind of edgy gothic tone that worked really well. And they kept it for different things as much as the intrigue and the sets and props and costumes. And that was kind of cool. I liked it. And I'm gonna talk to you about the dynamics between the characters. I thought that for most of them it was okay. It's just a pilot, so they haven't been working together very long, so you're not like, it's not as if you just jump in a TV show and it doesn't look as natural as it should be. But it really worked well between Clary and Simon. I mean, I really liked Robert Sheehan when he did in the movie, but Tabitha Rosende and Catherine McNamara are doing good, and so far that's nice. And I also liked the whole family relationship that is going on between Luke and Clary and her mom, and also the kind of the triangular power between Alec and Izzy and Jace. You can see that they have very different and very defined characters and behaviors, but at the same time it still works kind of like in the book. So you can see this dynamic with Jace being kind of the sarcastic jerk that is taking all the risks, and Izzy, who is the one that is more into seduction, and but is like she's the only girl of the group, so she has quite a powerful representation of her sexuality and of her body throughout the whole episode. And then Alec, who is more closed off and like very concerned about the rules. So that was good because if you remember in the first book, because you need to go back to the very first book, we're not like in the fifth book where Alec has grown and changed and learned. It was kind of how it was when you first meet Izzy. She is this girl that is flirting with Simon and just making awful soup, and but at the same time really being into this seduction kind of game. And then you had Jace, who at first I couldn't stand Jace. I still can't at times, but grew on me. And Alec, who was the one that was the most restricted and that was the less open to the arrival of Clary for many different reasons. There was way too much foreshadowing during the whole episode. It was kind of it was very annoying on different sides. Like, for example, my boyfriend watched the TV show with me, and he has never heard or read or anything about the books. Like, he doesn't know the first thing about the books. Besides that Clary is the main character and that she's basically the heroine and stuff. That's all. And so yeah, he still completely figured out all the characters and their relationships and kind of how they're going, like where they're going to, what they're gonna change into, and it was very, very obvious. And I definitely hate when foreshadowing is so obvious. It makes me feel like they think that people that are watching are dumb people that need to like be screamed at. This is what is going to happen! Do you see? Do you see? It happens very often with the love triangles, like so obvious from the very first instant you see Clary and Simon. But that happens with Maureen and with Chase and with many other moments. There's one very bad moment when Clary is like, it's not as if I was going to go on an epic journey. Really? Do you really need to, like, just spell it out? I don't know. It was, Jimmy, it's just something that throws me off and that really bugged me. There were this new thing that wasn't in the first that it wasn't in the first book, but at the same time it's a bit complicated because Cassie said herself that it wasn't as if it were going to be one season, one book. It's gonna be a blend of the books and of the intrigues, and so there was at some point Luke finding a victim and she was blood drained. So again, foreshadowing for Simon, but at the same time it's nice because as a reader you like to be surprised and to want to know more. You know, when you're going into something that you have read about and then you know by heart, it's always good when you have a few things that surprise you and that kind of intrigue you and make you want to know more and see more of the TV show. This way they attract both people that have never seen or never heard about the movie and the books that were made before, and the readers that still have something to find in the TV shows that they didn't know about from the books. There were a lot of mention of Twitter. This needs to stop. It's funny the first second when you see that Simon is going tweeting and things, and that's fine, but there comes a point when it's just ridiculous, and that happens with many other things. They push things a bit too much to make it look like our society right now, and to make it look perfectly relatable and stuff like this, and to me it just doesn't work. It just seems weird and forced, and I don't like it. Decided to go for a flashback at some point, which kind of made sense because you need to understand that Clary had her memories taken away by Magnus. So I was expecting one, especially since we saw a scene in the trailers where she goes to see Magnus. But that specific flashback I didn't completely fully understand, and I'm not sure I completely liked it either. I was very disappointed by the child actress. I don't mean anything bad to her or anything, but she doesn't know how to act. It's terrible. And she doesn't look anything like Clary besides that she has red hair. So, well, you know. A lot of special effects, most were bad, some were okay, but at the same time, what did you expect? It's an network TV show, you can't do much. If you watch Once Upon a Time and you can go through the awful CGI, then you'll be fine for Shadowhunters. The acting was wooden for most of the episode, but like we said before, this is the first episode, it's introductory, it's a pilot. You have to give them a few more episodes to know how really it's gonna go and whether they're gonna grow from here and become better and more natural, or if it's gonna stay that stiff. Hopefully it won't, but I guess you'll have to see my review for the next episodes if you want to know how it goes and what I think of it. It was like more, you could see it more with Clary and Jocelyn. I think is where I could see it the most. Like there was one scene specifically I'm thinking of where Clary is being thrown by her mom into the portal, and it was really cringeworthy. Like when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is bad. Besides that, you know, I felt that the episode in itself was very rushed. Like we were throwing information at people the whole way, like just throwing stuff in and hoping that everybody will catch up. Apparently everybody can catch up since my boyfriend was fine with it. But it felt very rushed, and I think maybe they should have taken their time more on some things. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and I'll see how it goes from here. The first meeting between Clary and Jace left me kind of annoyed and puzzled. Like, it's very intense and it is quite ridiculous. Honestly, like, it really is. So I hope that they'll get more chemistry and that he'll come out of his prick kind of behavior, even though it is the way it is in the books. And that it will look less forced and less intense and less childlike. It was very childlike to me. Coming to the fights, Jocelyn is kicking asses in her fights, and that's cool. But there was this one fight in the Pandemonium Club, which I'm sure you know when Clary comes and she sees Jace and Izzy and Alec fighting over Demon, and she thinks that they're murdering somebody. And in that version, in the TV show adaptation, Clary runs in and basically she just takes the Seraph blade and goes off with it. And it's not great because it kind of looks like they just throw the demon and impale it on her sword. It's really ridiculous. You want to be like, what? Besides that, the other fights, if not good, were okay. There were many changes considering between the book and the TV show, but we were expecting it. Some of them we knew. And new people were very upset at first because Izzy and Alec were Latinos, and I don't see really why you're upset because it works. And Emerald Tubia is really pretty and good Izzy, even though I think the changes they did to Izzy are the ones that have the most trouble to come to accept, because, well, Izzy is my favorite character, and I kind of feel like they kind of ruined her. But for now, it's just the first episode, and you don't see much of her. In her interactions with Jace or Clary, I see the Izzy I like, but then she calls Alec Big Brother all the freaking time, and she walks around in latex clothes, and I'm like, what is happening? So, we'll see. But I know there was recently, like, they released that Izzy wouldn't know about her father's um, affairs, and that changes her on a deep point of view. And Cassie actually did a really good piece of writing on this. If you're interested, you should go check her Tumblr out, because it really changes her in depth, and I'm worried how it's gonna go. But we get to see more Izzy next week with Simon and how they interact together, and so I'm hoping that it won't completely throw a character off, and that I still find the Isabel that I liked in the books. About changes too, there were many changes in Clary and her mom, and how she comes to know about the runes and the Shadowhunter word. It still kind of works. I didn't personally completely like it because, well, I'm a reader and I like when they do the things like they did in the books, but it kind of makes sense. And this way, like I said, it was a bit rushed off, but this way the person that was watching the TV show could understand it more completely than if it had been introduced in any other way. It kind of ruins the mystery, which is annoying, but it still works, so you don't have to complain too much. And the other thing that maybe was the most troubling to me is Maureen, because we made her a singer in Simon's band, a 20-year-old singer in Simon's band, and that just doesn't work with me. Maureen is tiny and small and angelic, and it kind of takes away all the creepiness of the character and the guilt that will come to really eat up Simon, because she's just a child, and in the TV show she's not. She's really a woman. She's an adult. She should be able to make her own decisions, and so I think it kind of takes away a lot of the impact of the character. But we'll see, maybe they'll figure a way to bring it back, but honestly, that was something that really bugged me. They also added a necklace between Justin and Clary, which kind of connects them. This way, Clary sees parts of what is going on Justin's point of view, and sees Valentine and stuff like this. I don't know where this is going, but I mean, why not? And of course, the biggest change for everybody would be that she's aged up. But it kind of works, having an 18-year-old Clary, it makes sense, and it explains why she can get away with certain things, and her being older and being more mature also works well. So it's not like you can't see a huge difference between 15-year-old Clary and 18-year-old Clary, it's fine. So to finish on this general thoughts and outline and outline of the episode point of view, I would say that the foreshadowing, which is very present and massively annoying, kind of ruins all the mystery and the thrill of the series. When you read the books, like, you're always trying to figure out what is gonna happen, but it's completely different from a book, and you can't really compare them and say it's bad because it's different. So I'm guessing what I'm saying is that we have 13 episodes to see how it goes, and from that point on we can really make a good opinion of how it was, and so I'm hoping that it'll go better and that we can build the mystery and build the intrigue and the relationships and the characters to the point where the characters are interesting and well drawn and defined, and are those characters that we love from the books. Moving on to the characters, their portrayals, the actors, all of this. So the first character I'm going to talk about is Isabel. Like I said, the way she dresses is very different from in the books, and she kind of still has this seduction behavior and all this, but it's a bit more pushy, and that's something that I didn't like as much. I thought that she needed to be subtler, like she's in the books. She's very subtle. She's a very smart person, and it kind of lacked that point of view. But it's just for, we see her like maybe what 10 minutes in the whole episode. So how do you want to really build an opinion on the character? You can see that she's caring, and you can see that she has deep love for her brother, and that she's somebody that is smart and that is a warrior. But I thought that at first they kind of just showed her off as a pretty girl that dances around and thinks she's a freaking mermaid. I did not get that scene. Why is she dancing around in white latex? It's still a mystery to me. Next would be Chase, who is as much of a prick as he is in the book, except it kind of makes him look creepy sometimes when he acts with, like, Clary, especially with the whole glamour thing and Simon can see him and things. But besides that, he was okay. I mean, he's Chase, he's not my favorite character, but it's definitely a characterization that he's close to what the books make of him. And Dominic Sherwood does good. He looks like Jess, he does well so far. So we'll see how it goes. And he does give a bit more mature side of Jess, and like kind of settled and less messy and childlike than in the movies. And like I really liked Matthew Daddario. I really liked his sister too. When I saw her in other works, and so I was happy to see him. And it's true that he does really well in Italic on every point of view, whichever it is physically or mentally, on his relationship with Chase, and the way he reacts to Clary being imposed on him. So that was perfect, and he did act really well. So that was really nice. Clary is portrayed as an artist getting into the School of Arts in Brooklyn, and I thought that was a really good way of showing her, like, the first thing you knew about her is that she's an artist, and I thought that was really good because it is a deep part of her, and it is very important throughout the books because of her various gifts. And so that was really cool that they did that. And it still worked well. I really liked the way they dressed her. It was very Clary, and I thought it was nice, you know, little jumper and stuff before she gets to the dark side and wears only black leather, although it will come. And it's nice that they acknowledge that she kind of looks like she's going insane. It gave way to many funny scenes, and it's good because I think Catherine McNamara is a really good choice for Clary. She looks like her, and she does a good job of incarnating her, even though the acting is still a bit off. But I'm sure it will come. And yeah, she was this very cheery girl that at the same time is kind of innocent and clueless about some stuff. But it was a good way of portraying her, and that for so far I would say that I've been content with Clary. Then Simon is a bit louder and a bit more annoying that I remembered him from the books, but maybe that's just me because I like him very much in the books, and so I thought that he was a bit less this nice guy that is a bit lost, but he looked more like a completely abandoned puppy that was being very annoying. But at the same time, he still had a really good relationship with Clary. I really liked the dynamic between them, so that was really good. And I wound up to Alberto Rosende being the actor portraying him. I would say that it's kind of unfair to me, it's just because I really liked Robert Sheehan and I had trouble just getting him out of my head. But yeah, he's nice and he's warm and he seems friendly, and I'm sure that it will work out perfectly with him portraying Simon, and that Simon will get more depth in the future episodes. Next would be Luke, who is a cop in the TV show, so that was cool. But his relationship, although I do like the actor very much, so I think he works really well. He portrays him really well too. I thought that was really cool, and I love his relationship with Clary and even Simon. You can see from the first moment that they're close. I had trouble adapting to the way they presented his relationship with Jocelyn. Like, his colleague mentions just marrying her, and that seems a bit rushed off. Like, shouldn't we just start by portraying how good friends they are and that he's just in love with her? I mean, so yeah, that was just something that put me a little, but besides that, it was good. He looked very much like the father figure, and I'm hoping that it will work out. And he does the betrayal thing in the first episode, which I think was interesting, even though very obviously fake to everybody besides Clary, who apparently has no brain at that certain point, but she's going through shock, so I'm not gonna judge her. Jocelyn is one of my least favorite characters in some books, and well, she's not my favorite here either. Although Maxine Roy is a good actress, she's doing perfectly fine and it works well. And I think I can see how it's gonna end up between Clary and Jocelyn. Like the two actresses have a good beginning of like a good basis for the dynamics. I'm hoping it will go well. We don't see her like she kicks asses in fights, which is good. But she's very dramatic and she's not just someone I like. But we won't see her much until she wakes up, so that's good for me. But we'll see, and hopefully when in the next, like if we get several seasons, we can get to Jocelyn, which is less annoying and less patronizing. Magnus was portrayed by a very good actor who I like really much, even though I was kind of bothered by his hair. I did not picture his hair like this. So it was an early appearance. It was so good, and I think that it's going to be even more interesting. The next episode will be, I think, portraying a bit of Malek, so hopefully we'll get to see that and to see how the dynamics are going on and how the chemistry is. And I'm hoping that it will be good because we're rooting for them. And yeah, so far I liked him. I liked the way he did his eyes, and I like the whole magic-y thing that was going on. You could obviously tell that he was a wizard, and I liked how when in the flashback you see him talking to Jocelyn from the very beginning. He's rooting for Clary and he's on her side and he's trying his best for her. And I know that we will see him more in the next episode, so I'm looking forward to that. The Circle guys are some kind of rip-off Matrix, which I haven't seen. I've only been told by my boyfriend who just told me. But yeah, why not? I mean, if they want to hang around in suits, that's their problem. Honestly, I don't have much to say about that. I already said what I thought about the changes to Marine, so I'm not a big fan right now, but we'll see. I am kind of intrigued by the captain, Luke's colleague. Something is up with her. And finally, Valentine. Yeah, I really like Alan Van Sprang because I was a huge fan of Rain, and I still am, but I less now. And I thought he was really interesting playing the Mad King, and I'm hoping that we'll get to see more of that in the future episodes because so far it just looks like a passionate and kind of creepy, gruesome killer. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, the fake mystery and the fake uh, cliffhanger at the end. Like obviously, she's your daughter. It's not gonna go. It wasn't great, but we'll see. We haven't seen much of him, and I'm hoping that we can see more of this manipulative and at the same time mad, but kind of on a point of view that you can kind of understand why he did all those things. Of course, it's awful, but it's the way that those terrors are made. It's because somebody thinks they're doing the right thing. I think that's going to be interesting to see and see how it develops from there and how he interacts with Jocelyn and then Jace and Clary. And I'm rooting for Sebastian. I'm really hoping that we'll get Sebastian. Not now, but sometimes. Moving on to sets and props, I didn't like so much the Institute, although you can clearly see that it's a church. It's very futuristic and it's kind of weird. That's not what I was expecting, even though I was told before when I read an article that it would be like this. For now, I'm not sure. It's also filled with people. Who are all those people? I don't know, but we'll get to see more of it, and maybe I'll change my mind, although I don't think I will. I honestly miss the old, stony Institute, and I can't wait to see church. So that's something. Then we have to talk about the Seraph blades, which look like basically toy lightsabers. But I kind of like the hilt and everything. That looks fine. But the way it just retracts, what's up with that? I don't know. It was weird. But they used it to prove that Clary was a Shadowhunter. Like she touches the blade and the blade comes out, and oh, she's a Shadowhunter. It was just strange. I just didn't like it very much. Although I did love Isabel's whip. I think that was really cool. So I did like that. They kept the Tower Cast from the movie, which I liked too, so that was fine. I think they're really cool and pretty. And we'll get to see more of them. On another point of view, I like Clary's room. It was cool. I like her bed and things, but now it burns, so too bad. And the last thing would be about the runes. They are made differently from what we've seen before in the sense that they do look like burns. They're kind of reddish, and depending on how long it's been on the skin, you can see different kind of layers of color, very red or more like a rosy kind of disappearing rune. So that was cool that they did that. They're still really big. I never pictured runes being so big. Like when in the movie, I was kind of bugged by that too. I didn't think it would be so big, but why not? Commentary stuff that bugged me or was cringeworthy or made me laugh. A paperweight. Really? Does it look like a paperweight? Yeah. They did many inside jokes and references to the books, as it is for band names for Simon and just stuff like this going all around. And that was nice, you know, when you're a reader, you like to see like small stuff that makes you laugh. And piggyback rides, that was cute too. 1 episode and 2 love triangles, and one in the first 10 minutes with a shirtless hunk. So yeah, I mean, it's a TV show, but still kind of annoying to already be thrown in all that gay stereotypical thing. And I like that Simon song Forever Young because I really like that song. Forever Young, also, inside joke, just noticed it. Duh. Also, it's definitely not Sanskrit, and do we really need to have the pandemonium sign just showing demon every freaking second? I don't know, that seems kind of just pushing it. The references to all the legends are true, and you got very gruesome and weirdly sexy at some point. Like, why did she really have to wear that? Monsters. His reactions were often close to the characters and to the character and funny, and that was really cool. Like, you get to see her like, "Mom, I've killed a guy," and it was very much like the way she acted towards Simon in the books. So I was glad about that. Last thing I would say, Clary runs into her flat. She's almost killed by a demon. She has eyeliner stain all over her cheeks, and she wakes up like maybe 8-10 hours later, bumps into Isabel, and she magically doesn't have any stain, is wearing pink lipstick, and has perfect eye makeup. Why? I don't know, but you know. So yeah, that would be it. I hope you liked this review, and I'll see you next week for another one. I would like also to tell you that I'm going to start the Kane Chronicles really soon by Riock Riordan, so you should be expecting a review in the next few weeks, hopefully in 1 week or 2, I don't know, hopefully will be quite soon. And question tags, if you want to see more and talk to me, you can either contact me on YouTube or by Tumblr, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't hesitate to comment down below and tell me what you thought of the first episode. If I had to give it a grade, I would probably give it 3 stars out of 5, and 2 of those stars are out of excitation because I got to see my books in a TV show. Here you go, have a good day.